Hello peeps and welcome back to Modded Minecraft with Nightdagger. We're on episode 39. We're drawing very close to that magical episode 40 where I'm going to do a world upload. So let's get into it so that we can get as much done as possible. I let my bedrock breaker run for a couple hours off camera and got myself a significant amount of bedrock dust. So we're going to go ahead and pull that out because we're going to need some of it probably. Now, I mentioned last episode that we are going to need to start making a few things. First thing, we're going to need to get some of that cadmium alloy, or cadmium, indium, silver alloy, which of course takes cadmium, indium, and silver in a blast furnace, but the blast furnace has to be heated to 1500 degrees, which we can't currently do. However, we need a heater. The heater is a block from Rotary Craft. It takes 8 kilowatts of power at 16 Newton meters of force. Well, just so happens a steam engine produces right around that. So we need a combustor, which is an ignition unit. Combustor, get. We need some steel. We need some base panels and some iron bars. Not iron doors, iron bars. Thank you. And combustor, yeah, iron in the corners, steel up top, base panel, need another base panel. Not sure why I only grabbed one. And base panel gets us a heater. So, we're going to need a bucket so that we can get that lava up down from down there. Because right now our blast heater is being fueled by a block of lava underneath it. That's not going to work anymore. So, what we need to do now is we're going to go ahead and take this stuff out of here. We're going to break this blast furnace up, and we're going to move him up. The blast furnace is now going to be housed here. Underneath him is going to be our heater. The heater, as you can see, takes power from down. So, we need a bevel gear. We're also going to need a steam engine, which I don't currently have one, so we're going to have to make one. So, condensers, I think I already have a spare condenser. Impeller, shaft unit. Yep, I already have a spare condenser. Need an impeller. Got one. Need a shaft unit. Need some cobblestone, because that acts as the radiator. Need a piece of copper. And what else does this need? Base panels. Always takes me a second to find it. And of course, it also helps if I have the right thing highlighted, huh? Steam engine. We're going to need some transfer pipe because we need to pump water to it. Going to need some netherrack to heat it. Flint and steel to light it. And I think I'm actually going to tunnel behind this. And we're going to have the steam engine running back here. Bevel gear underneath. It needs to take power in from the west and output to up. Steam engine behind it. Like that. Next, we need the water source, which if I tunnel behind this wall, I should be able to link into this. Yep. So we'll just We still have the water source connected there for the extruder and for the extractor. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect in to this pipe right here. We're going to run it down this way. That's nice. There we go. We should be getting water in this thing now. And we are. It's taken a long time though. Not sure how I feel about that. I don't like that. Steam engines can explode if they don't have an adequate water source. So we're not going to do this. Change my mind. It's going to get its own dedicated water source. We'll go get a liquid transfer node and a world interaction upgrade. And buckets. 2 of them. Downstairs into Thumbcraft. Dip, dip. Back to Rotary Craft. Water. Water. Block. Transfer node. World interaction upgrade. Break you out. Now we're getting water. Good. This thing now has a dedicated fuel source. Herein lies a small issue. This is going to break into the roof of my... Yeah. We'll deal with it. It's worth the end result. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to give us the ability to heat this thing pretty much on demand. It's not going to be a situation anymore where we just walk over to the thing and it's ready to go. We're going to have to supply this thing with some form of heat and give it a temperature that we're aiming for. Now, that steam engine is going to produce plenty of power at plenty of torque in order to keep this heater running full time. So we don't have to worry about this thing. I'm going to block that off and we'll just have to make sure we check our heater anytime we want to cook something, right? Right. Let's go back upstairs, put some stuff away, and get what we're going to need for the next stage here, which is going to be a stack of cadmium, a stack of indium, and a stack of silver. We're also going to need some lava buckets. Just so happens I have an infinite lava source, for the most part. It's not truly infinite, but... Okay, this thing is now running. We can see it's getting plenty of power, plenty of speed, plenty of torque. We need this thing set at 1600 degrees. Now, 1500 is enough to do the alloy that we're working on, but if you set it at the exact temperature necessary, it's going to get there, it's going to bounce back and forth, and it's never actually going to complete anything. The heater runs by supplying it with something that it can burn. Hello. I just blew up my heater. Machine item was deleted before its packet power sync could be... What did I do? I don't remember doing that. Okay, so that's not going to work. We're going to need the friction heater, I guess. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, we need something to clean that up, too. I just blew up my heater. Oh, well. Okay, well, so much for that. That also means the steam engine's basically worthless to us. We'll replace this later. Alright. Yeah. So, about that, we're going to need a microturbine. I so was not expecting that explosion. That scared the crap out of me. I'm running on way too little sleep to be dealing with explosions. Alright. So yeah, we're going to need a microturbine. I don't know if I have any spare ones. I don't have any spare microturbines. Okay. We'll put the steam engine away. The friction heater, we are going to need... Let's actually get my dynamometer too, because I want to kind of display how this is going to work once I actually get it working. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to have a blast furnace set up somewhere. Oh, there's a nasty out there. Okay. I think I might actually just tap into this microturbine since I only run that thing part-time. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to set our blast furnace right here. We're going to set our bevel or our dynamometer right there. And we're going to set him like that. Remember, red is the output. Friction heater on there. Okay. And we're going to rotate this microturbine to face that way. We're going to need to break that block out so that we can access the lever. And we're going to need a couple of gearboxes. If I remember correctly, this is going to require a 16-to-1. What do we have? We have a 4-to-1 and a 2-to-1. I'm gonna have to go shut down my bedrock breaker probably. Or no, I'm not gonna do that. We'll come up here. I'm gonna need, I think, my 4-to-1. Is the one we're gonna need. Alright, and we're gonna borrow this gearbox. 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 These both need to be set into torque mode. We'll flip this on, and we're going to see that we are transmitting power across this thing at 1024 Newton meters. The maximum speed that this thing is going to achieve is going to be 2048 rad. The closer you can get to an exact ratio, the better heating you're going to get. So, this blast furnace should easily hit 1500. We're going to put our silver ingots in there. Now, I'm also going to go prepare something. We're going to get a shaft unit. And actually, what we're going to do here is we're going to take these out and we're going to put this in here with 4 of our bedrock dust. That's going to start cooking us up. And on the other side of this, we're going to get 4 bedrock shaft units. What do we need those for? Well, I think it's time we make a CVT. A CVT is a continuous variable transmission. It takes 2 bedrock shaft units, a circuit board, a screen, 4 shaft bearings, and a mount. So, shaft bearings. Ball bearings around metal. That gets us 16. We need 32. So we'll take 2 of them. 4 shaft bearings. Get. We need a mount. Got one of them. We need a circuit board. Got one of them. We need a screen. Got one of them. Pop him in there. And we have our CVT. CVT requires a couple of things to function. First of all, requires lubricant. You can see we got the 1350. Needs lube. It's over here now. 1 bucket of lubricant and the CVT. That's all it's ever going to require. But you're also going to see it's got a bunch of slots here. What do those slots require? They require belts. We need moo cows. Not only do we need moo cows, we need lots of moo cows. Also, this blast furnace did not hit the required minimum temperature that we needed. So, yeah, boo-hoo for us. We need leather. Leather. Around HSLA steel gives you belts. So far I've got 18. We come down here and we pop these 18 belts in here. We're going to see not quite enough. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We need 13 more. Which means we need to do that recipe 6 more times. How much leather do I have in my bookbinder? 36. Downstairs. There's 8. We got plenty of rotten flesh. Rotten flesh, if we take a look at the uses of it, you'll see 3 rotten flesh plus a bucket of water plus flint in an alchemic chemistry set gives you leather. You can also mana infuse it using an alchemy catalyst, but I don't have that. So, get some flint and need buckets of water. Let's go ahead and get a couple of them. We'll do 8 buckets of water. There we go. Back upstairs. Yeah, back upstairs to this room. To our alchemic chemistry set, where we'll put in the recipe. Now we just need an orb. We'll toss our master blood orb in there. That'll do the trick. Toss that in. No, we don't want the other water bucket. There we go. We see the swirly effects. 3. 6. 9. 12. 15. I think that's enough. If not, it's going to be close. Yeah, we need 3 more. Good. Okay, there's our belts. The belts will allow us to basically completely replace these gearboxes. We don't need these anymore. They can go away. What we can do now is we can take all of our belts out of the CVT. We can put the CVT in line. We're going to need a diamond shaft. We're going to put him in line. And we're going to see that we're out of jet fuel. Let's fuel this thing back up. There we go. Power's increasing again. You can see our torque is only 16 nanometers. It's not really enough to do much of crap. I'm also going to come on. We're going to take the jet fuel out of this. Because I'm actually going to hijack this. We're going to get a shaft junction. No. We're actually going to replace this with a shaft junction. That's almost right. There, that's how I want it. Break him, break him, break that. Okay, ECU, microturbine, lever, bring on the jet fuel. Now the dynamometer here is actually going to give us a good insight as to what's going on. We're going to see we're getting 2 megawatts of power. Well, that engine provides 2 megawatts. So does this one. So we should be getting 4, except one of those engines is still speeding up. So it's not going to provide its full power until it hits max speed. Once it does, then we'll start getting 4 megawatts. In the meantime, the CVT, once we put our belts in here, we can set a gear ratio on this thing. And we can set this anywhere from 1 to 32 times. So let's set it to 16x torque. Hey, all of a sudden we're running again. We are getting 256 newton meters at 8 kilorad. Not quite what we want. Let's go ahead and go for 32. Hey, we're at 32. We're getting 512 newton meters at 4 kilorad. Cool, right? Well, still not quite what we want. We're actually going to want to put a gearbox in line, because a CVT by itself isn't going to be quite enough to get us where we want to be. So we're going to break the friction heater. We're going to break this blast furnace. We're going to break the dynamometer. We're actually going to pick up the CVT also, because we want the gearbox to be the first thing in line. Then the CVT. Why? Because the CVT can handle much higher torques and much higher powers. Then the dynamometer, then the friction heater, then the blast furnace. Now, this thing will set for 16 torque. You can see now we're getting 2048 kilonewton meters at 2048 rad per second. This thing should now get us about where we want to be. We need it to hit at least 1500. If it doesn't get there, it's going to be real close. Oh, 1482? Only 1482. Okay, we're going to need another shaft junction. And another steam engine. So we're just going to let these microturbines run. It's actually more fuel efficient to continue letting them run than to try and do anything with them. So in the meantime, we're going to put away these water buckets. We're going to put away the gravel transfer node. We're going to put away the rest of the bedrock dust, the other shaft units, the diamond shaft. We're going to need a shaft junction, which is base panels, HSLA steel, and yeah, base panels, bevel gears, one gear, a couple steel. There we go. Need a microturbine. Compressor. Got it. Combustor. Got it. Turbine. Takes another compressor. We didn't need that. Need some gears. Got them. Compressor. Got that. Turbine. Got that. 2 steel, 1 shaft unit. Got that. Turbine, combustor, compressor, shaft unit. Base panels. I don't have the base panels on me. That's what's going on. There's the steel. Base panels. Microturbine. I don't have an engine control unit available, I don't think. Oh, I do have one. Good. All right. Let's go set this one up. So, shaft junction. Right there. We're actually going to go ahead and do that. We're going to put the ECU right here. ECU. Microturbine. Buckets of jet fuel. We're going to get sparks again. I'm realizing now that we're 30 minutes into this episode. And we still have quite a bit of work left to do. So I don't want the 16 to 1 there. I want the 4 to 1 there. 4 to 1, CVT, filled with belts, dynamometer, friction heater, blast furnace. All right. As for fuel, we've got about 4 buckets in each one. We're watching for this to become 6 megawatts. Now, while this thing is going, I am going to make preparations for the next part of our build. We're going to need a pulse jet furnace, which is obsidian, a compressor, a liquid pipe, a diffuser, combustors, base panels. So, I'm going to need 2 obsidian. We don't have any diffusers, so we'll have to make one. We're going to need a combustor. Pulse jet furnace. Need a liquid pipe and some base panels and a compressor. There, we should have everything we need for the pulse jet furnace. And we do. The pulse jet furnace is a monster. It requires 131 kilorads of speed. Alright, we've got 6 megawatts, 192 newton meters of torque, 32 kilorad. Let's set this thing into torque mode. We're going to set it into 16 times torque. We are getting 3 kilonewton meters at 2 kilorad. This thing is now hot enough, finally, to do our alloy. So we're going to put this stuff in here and let it start alloying. It shouldn't take long. While that is running, we're going to come over here where we still have, or no, we don't have the pulse jet furnace set up here anymore, do we? Damn. Or the gas turbine, rather. So, we're going to go get the gas turbine, because I'm not messing around with this thing anymore. Gas turbine. We have this thing set to 16 to 1, right? Yes, we do. Good. We're stealing this. We're just going to put this in line. There. Over here, on this block, right here, we're going to put Mr. Nasty. Not there. And not sitting like that. That's how we want it. All right. We're going to put the CVT right after him. Facing that way. We're going to dig this out so we can see. And I need to make sure that this is barricaded so we can't get through there. Because if we can get through there, we can get sucked in. That's not good for anyone. We're going to need a bevel gear, which is going to take power in from the west and output to up. And our pulse jet furnace is going to go on top of that. Now, the pulse jet furnace. Come on. There we go. It's full of water, It also needs to be full of jet fuel. This thing can get dangerous. So we're going to put 5 buckets of jet fuel in this thing. This CVT, we're going to set 2-to-1 speed because this thing puts out 65 kilorad. We need 131 kilorad. Actually, you know what? No, we're not going to do that. What are we going to do? We're going to set this thing 32 speed. Why? Because this thing has no minimum torque requirement. It's just pure unadulterated speed to make it run faster. And this CVT unit is made with bedrock parts. It's unbreakable. By now, we're getting good progress on our cadmium-indium alloy ingots. We're going to come up here. We're going to get some of our tungsten flakes. Remember, we said we needed 40 for what we're planning to do. And we need some coal dust. So, we're also going to need 40 coal dust. We'll just toss that in the pulverizer right here. Let it do its thing. It's also going to get us a nice side effect of some sulfur. Tungsten plus pulverized coal. Oh, it has to be coal dust. Damn it. Okay, I got to process coal through a grinder. All right, well, this is the fastest grinder I have access to. We're gonna hijack it. There we go. Back upstairs, where we will get our coal dust, combine that with our tungsten, and that gets us tungsten carbide. We're gonna need a few more buckets of jet fuel. We're going to give 3 buckets of jet fuel to this pulse jet furnace. That's going to fill its tank. I've got 5 buckets of jet fuel on me. We're going to step back here to this gas turbine. In the pulse jet furnace, we're going to put our tungsten carbide flakes, and we're going to give this thing fuel. This pulse jet furnace is now heating up, and it is working. I can't remember if the pulse jet furnace explodes. Max temperature 1,000 degrees Celsius. I really hope it doesn't hit that, because if it does, it's going to blow. But we're making tungsten carbide. I might want to go get a cooling fan. Or, nope, I think we're going to stabilize right around 900. That thing, however, is ridiculously hot, and it will set things on fire if they're behind it, including the player. Now, I am immune to fire damage, so that doesn't bother me. I can stand near this thing all day. Not going to do a thing to me. But if you have flammable blocks in your base, it can catch them on fire real fast. We're just waiting for it to tick down another bucket of jet fuel. Or another millibucket. Another 100 millibuckets. We've already burned through all of the fuel in our gas turbine. That's not even funny. Which means we've already burned through it again. I'm going to have to basically run back and forth. Ferrying jet fuel to this gas turbine until I'm done. I really hope that thing doesn't get hot enough to blow. I don't want to deal with an exploding rotary craft machine in my base. Eventually, I will probably set this thing up with the gas turbine in such a way that I don't have to constantly run back and forth like this, because this is kind of stupid. Needed the saturation. Alright. We're making tungsten carbide. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and make another 40. While we're at it. Provided that this thing still has fuel. Yes, this thing does still have fuel. Back upstairs. Back upstairs. Turn off the lubricant production. We'll get the coal dust. Combine that with the tungsten for more tungsten carbide. Back downstairs. 5 buckets of jet fuel. Back over here. Feed that a couple. Feed this a couple. And more tungsten carbide, please. Alright. I am going to continue this probably off camera because you guys have seen what's going to go into the making of all of this stuff. I am going to go ahead and craft the components we're going to need for the next stage of this build off camera. Make sure I have everything that we need ready to rock. And when I come back next episode, we are going to set up our high temperature gas reactor. Now, next episode is probably going to be a long one because setting up an HTGR is not, it's not fun and games. It's a long build. It's fairly complicated as far as, stuff that we're doing goes. It's got a lot of numbers involved, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff to take into consideration. So I'm going to get everything ready off camera, and when I come back next episode, we will set up our high temperature gas reactor, and after that we shouldn't have to worry about power too much. This thing, I'm going to give it another bucket of jet fuel, and actually I'm just going to go over real quick the parts that I'm going to craft off camera so that you guys will see what all this is going to take into account. I think I already did this last episode, but we're going to do it again anyway. We're going to need some pebble bed reactor cores, which take these fuel cores, which is what we need this silver, or this cadmium indium alloy ingot for. We're actually going to need 12 of these things, which means we're going to need 24 of these, which means I might actually even need to make more of this cadmium indium alloy. We're going to need some carbon dioxide heat exchangers. We need 3 of these for the build that I'm going to go for. Steam boilers, base panels. Okay? We're going to need 1 heat exchanger, which is this thing here. Cooling fins, liquid pipes, gold ingots, impellers, yada yada. We're going to need a micro turbine to power this thing to start out. We're also going to need a steam boiler. We're going to need 2 of these steam boilers. As soon as I find it. Steam boiler. Reservoir, HSLA steel, base panels. We're going to need some of the steam line, which is wool around liquid pipes. We're going to need quite a bit of this stuff actually. We're going to need to make some carbon dioxide gas. In order to do that, we're going to need, what the hell is it called? We're going to need a gas collector. Gas collector is liquid pipes, HSLA steel, and base panels. You put this on top of a furnace, and then you burn something in the furnace. And that gives you, we need to repower that gas turbine already. You burn something burnable like wood or whatever in the furnace. I think it has to be a vanilla furnace. And it catches the carbon dioxide and does what you need it to do. Gives you CO2. We're going to need a way to transfer CO2 back and forth through the system. For that, we're going to use probably just going to use liquid transfer nodes. CO2 and hot CO2 are considered a liquid, so you can pump around like that. We're going to need an infinite water source in order to supply the steam boilers. Again, we're going to rely on extra utilities for that, because it's the best way to get large amounts of water quickly. We are going to need, oh, we're done with the alloy. We can pull our fuel back out of this. Okay, how do we do over here? We got 3 full stacks. I think we got plenty. Alright, so we're going to let these run empty. We are going to need turbines. The turbines are made with propeller blades around a steam turbine core. That takes all of this tungsten carbide that I just made. We're going to need a total of 10 of these things. So that's why I made 80. Around compound turbines, you guys have seen these before. We're going to need some sintered tungsten. So I am actually going to go ahead and figure out which of my micro turbines are still running, and we're going to refuel them, because I'm going to want to smelt up some of that tungsten that I've got in reserve. Let's go ahead and give you another bucket, and you, and you. Then we're going to give you another one, because you're spinning back up. This thing is still hot enough to do tungsten. So we're going to put a stack of tungsten in there and just cook this thing up like gangbusters. Or wait, no, it has to be a regular furnace. So we'll break off the blast furnace. We'll get a regular, plain old vanilla furnace. Come down here, pop him on there. He's going to get stupid hot, stupid fast. Two. We'll go ahead and go 3, 3, 3. There we go. Yeah, this friction heater is going to get this furnace stupid hot. Toss our tungsten in here, and it's going to cook up. That's going to give us a stack of this tungsten to work with. So, that's the game plan. We're also going to want... I'm also going to want some bedrock gear components. So I'm also going to make some bedrock gears and some bedrock shafts off camera. Might also make myself another one of those CVT units because those things can be really, really useful. And beyond that, I think that's everything that we're going to need. After that, it's just a matter of setting it up. So I'm going to prepare that area off camera. It's going to be back here. Back where all of that's crap is set up at the moment. Can I pull the jet fuel back out of here? No, I can't. Damn it. Oh well. Wasting $4 of jet fuel probably. Anyway, that's the game plan. I am now 51 minutes into this recording, so I think it's about time I call this an episode. So this has been Nightdagger with episode 39 of Modded Minecraft with Nightdagger Season 5. Hope you guys are looking forward to episode 40. Believe me, I am, because once we get that thing running properly, oh, this is going to be a beautiful sight. Wait until you guys see it. Hope you're looking forward to it. I'll catch you later, peeps.